You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
I have read so many of the Epstein files myself. I know this sounds crazy, but in the files, you can go to the Epstein file website and you can just type in jerky and it'll pull up all the search results from jerky. Read 5 of them and you'll be like, I think they're talking about people. It's crazy.
This week's guest is a former cast member of Love is Blind, an advocate, an informed citizen, a podcast host, and just a great dude, Nick Thompson. Nick created UCAN, a foundation to support and advocate for people that have been exploited and traumatized by unscripted television shows. He gives an update on his love life, UCAN, the mental fatigue of living in the US these days, and suggestions for folks who try to stay informed but suffer with overwhelm. But are you still single?
No, I'm not single. I'm dating a lovely lady named Carrie since around the beginning of the year 2025. We actually met at a Bears-Packers watch party in November of 2024 through a mutual friend who just brought about 10 people together to watch that game. And then she and I didn't even really interact. And I had met her previously after a Bears game with a group of friends, but I didn't even remember. And then we didn't interact at all during the game. And then we went out, a few of us afterwards, to another bar in the area, and we got seated in a booth kind of next to each other, like one of those big round ones. And so we chit-chatted and everything, and she asked me to walk her home because it was getting dark out, and it was on the way to me, I was walking home, and it was on the way, and she didn't want to walk alone, and rightfully so, as a woman in Chicago at night especially. And so I said, yeah, I'll walk you on the way. And then we got to her house, and it was like, well, you want to grab a drink at the bar here real quick? And then, we stayed up all night, and the rest is history.
Damn, well, congratulations.
Here we are. Yeah,
I didn't think you were ever going to date because you were just so spread thin with your life that I was like, this dude's never going to date.
Me neither. And then, it's funny because I had made up my mind that I just didn't want to participate in dating culture. And literally a few days before I met her, I kind of changed my mindset and was like, I have to at least be open to this. I don't have to go on dating apps. I don't have to do anything crazy, but I've got to be open to it so that if something does come my way, and, this could be, because I don't need more as much, but I do sometimes, but I would get DMs from people asking me out all the time. And so, just maybe I'm open to that. So I was just kind of my mindset I'm going to open my mind up to maybe meeting someone. And that doesn't mean I have to proactively go on dating apps. But within a few days, I met someone. I really do believe the mindset thing can be real.
So you manifested it.
I think so. Out of thin air, practically.
And I guess how is the UCAN Foundation going? Are you still part of that?
Yeah. Yeah. The UCAN Foundation is going fine. It's going well. I think we're kind of in a bit of a holding pattern right now. I actually just got. It's so funny because it ebbs and flows. There'll be weeks, months where there's nothing to really. Nothing urgent happening. So we're doing kind of some of the slow burn stuff we're working on. And then out of nowhere, it'll be, Taylor Frankie Paul's Bachelorette season gets canceled. And then it's boom, the floodgates open. And then it's someone's, doing a study or something on the mental health of reality TV participants. So it's something happens and then it just the floodgates are open and it's like you're back in it. Like I haven't thought about, UCAN in a few days, and then it's like it's all I can think about for weeks because there's so much going on. There's moments when I'm like, when have I taken this as far as I can take this on my own or with my group, my people? And I think that's something you got to apply to everything. Like, how far can I take this?
Are you almost as far as you can take it with UCAN?
Well, right now, this is the big, non-update update. So, I've got my National Labor Relations Board here in the States. In December of 2024, they made the decision to suggest that Love is Blind cast members, based on my case, with Renee Poche from season 5. I don't even remember anymore. There's so many seasons now. I'm just like, I don't know. And
every country has one too.
I know, every country. And so I had this case, and by being classified as employees, it voids a lot. It makes it illegal, a lot of the NDA stuff and the contract stuff. So by doing that, we would be allowed to publicly talk about working conditions, form a union, join a union, all of those like restrictions on what you can and can't do, can and can't talk about, those would all be gone. There's so many things in the contract that are gone through this classification. Well, that happened in December of 24 after over a year and a half of an investigation on their side to make that determination. Well, when Trump got into office, he pretty quickly removed the National Labor Relations Board general counsel that Biden had implied, and he put in a interim one whose name was William Cohen, I think. So they put William Cohen in their interim while they were waiting to get the nominee affirmed and approved to go in. So he was interim. Last summer, his team reached out to me and they asked, will you talk with William and his team and let them interview you about this case? Basically, this is not normal, but my assumption of the matter was they were considering throwing it out because his whole mission when he joined as the interim was to clear up the backlog. So I think they were looking at a lot of the NLRB cases and figuring out which ones to just throw out. So I took the opportunity to talk to him and his team, and it was probably about 10 people on that call. I think we talked for close to an hour, and they asked me a lot of questions about what it was like and what happened. And so after going through that, he said to me and his team, that this was very eye-opening, and we had no idea some of the things that were going on. He said, I can read the report that came, but hearing it from you and your experience and the impacts that it had on you and some of the facial expressions they gave when I was telling parts of my story, he said, this gives us a lot more to think about. And so he's like, I can't give you a timeline on when this is going to become a priority, but this is giving us more to think about. So then we heard a few probably months later that it was going to be scheduled, I think, for October, my hearing, which I and Renee would testify in front of the judge and be examined and then defended by an NLRB attorney as well. And the idea of this would be to determine whether or not the classification of employee versus contractor from the NLRB's investigation was going to become law, basically. And so then they kicked the can down the curb again, and then earlier this year in January, it got postponed indefinitely because a new general counsel that wasn't going to be interim, named Crystal Carey, came in and was appointed and sworn in as the general counsel of the NLRB, and basically kicked it down indefinitely. So I don't have any idea what's going to happen. But when I did that interview with the team last summer, I felt very good about the progress and that it was going to actually happen. And it hasn't happened yet. So that's kind of the holdup for me. If I'm being totally honest, if the NLRB ruling doesn't go in the direction of making Love is Blind cast members employees instead of contractors, I think there's a lot of stuff we have to rethink about at UCAN as to what our path forward is, because if we don't have that, we can never unionize. You can still advocate. We can always be advocating and, maybe take some different directions in how we go about it. But that would be a major blow to the movement and our ability to, get legal protections under labor laws.
Well, that's very disappointing.
No, you know what? It's disappointing, but it's okay.
I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. Well, I'm sorry, man. I know how passionate you are about this and how much you care and how much people have suffered. I mean, like, people look at reality stars and be like, oh, poor reality star. Oh, it's slave labor. It's well, we've talked about the mental health effects and everything else, and then.
Well, I mean, it blows my mind that you can go watch me on Netflix in the whole world any given time, and I'm never going to make a penny from that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Well, I'm sorry, and I know how with any kind of advocating, there's fatigue, and I just hope if you do get to the point with the fatigue that, you know, you need to step aside, I'm hoping someone else can pick up where you left off and just keep the movement going, or even if you just take a half step back or something.
I've definitely taken a half step back.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Because like you said earlier, like I do too much, and I'm really trying to get myself focused now on things that I can move, right? And so, like, right now, like, moving UCAN outside of, you know, a few projects, you know, I don't feel like we can move the movement until we get, you know, aside from a few side projects, the real movement we need is this NLRB thing to work itself out.
Yeah, and the crazier the world gets, this gets, like, less and less as a priority in people's minds.
I know. I mean, even mine, I'm like, what am I doing sometimes? Like, there's so much more going on in the world, but...
As a Canadian fella, what's it like down there?
Oh my gosh. Well, depends on the context in which you want to speak about it. So,
well, it depends on the day, because every day there's something different. So,
yeah. Well, and to start with the weather, because this is all we talk about this time of year in Chicago. Yeah, it's been a really long, cold winter, and we get these little teases of like a day where it's 70, and then the next day it's back in like the 30s, and that's where we're at right now. Because Monday, we're on a Wednesday now. Monday it was like 70 something degrees, beautiful outside. A little windy, but like it tends to be windy when it's warm this time of year. But like just taking the sun in, like being outside and taking the sun in. And then yesterday, wake up, it's like 67. It's super humid. I take the dog out. I'm wearing literally like a athletic leisure hoodie and a t-shirt. I'm like unzipping it just from walking the dog. I'm hot. And then I go to go out and meet a friend of mine for dinner last night, and I'm back in a winter coat. And that's just one day. And it had also rained, hailed, rained again, sun came out. So it's just, we're at this point right now where it's like, you just don't know what you're going to get hour to hour. And I can't wait. Like I'm at, you know, I like to get outside a lot. I think we've probably talked about that before. And even in the winter, I usually get out and I hit my steps, and, you know, it's really good for my mental well-being to have morning walk and an afternoon walk. And, I'm like so over, I can't even do it. Like this morning with the dog, it was so cold and windy. I think I usually do 3,000 to 5,000 steps. I did like 1,200, and I was like, fuck this. Oh, am I allowed to swear in here? I forget.
Oh, fuck
like,
yeah.
It's cold. Yeah, I'm like, it's fucking cold. I'm so sick of it. But otherwise, Chicago, you know, we usually put up with 7 to 10 months of shitty, unpredictable weather. But once you hit June, July, and August, there's no better place in the country, maybe the world, than Chicago. Because we're one of the big cities that has like a lake. We have downtown. We have all of these neighborhoods, and it's spread out. It's not as condensed as a city like New York, or even I would say a city like Boston. So it's spread. So you got space. You got different neighborhoods you can go to get different food, different flavors, different culture, different art, different experiences just walking down the street. And I always say that's what makes Chicago great. It's the summertime shy, and it's the neighborhoods that make Chicago great. And so this winter, the last few months, I've been like, why am I here? Why am I putting myself through this? And then I bet you talk to me in July, I'm going to be like, best place in the world. Woo! Because that's just how it is.
Yeah, it sounds like your weather is very similar to ours, because our summers are amazing here too.
It makes you forget until you're in your 6th month of bitter cold. But politically, man, since I don't even know where to start. So we've had ICE in town.
Well, you had. Right. Chicago and Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. This is old news already. This is like 4 months ago. Like the news changes so quickly in this country that you just don't even get a chance to catch up. It's like the 24-hour news cycle runs and runs and runs. So, yeah, what have we got going on politically? We're in shambles.
Well, it's funny how the whole Epstein thing is like put on the back
gone.
burner now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. I mean, I'd love to hear your take on that because I've got lots of takes. I had a whole podcast on it that got demonetized. Like it was,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised at all. Probably one where I could have actually done some good stuff. But like the whole Epstein thing, the search is down as of the war in Iran. Search is down 95% on the Epstein files. Like, who knew starting World War III would just make people forget that our leaders are PDF files and, potentially cannibals and doing horrible things to underage boys and girls, and everybody's just kind of whatever. It blows me.
Yeah, and like other countries are like
arresting people.
Yeah, exactly. And then as a Canadian, you look down in the States and it's.
Yeah, what's your view as a Canadian?
I mean, it's always kind of been more entertaining, kind of humorous as a Canadian because it's like. It's basically a reality show, and so, we sit and watch. And I mean, there's some people that get into it too much to the point that they're like, they think it's
You're
real.
talking about me. 'Cause I get into it.
No, I mean like Canadians that are like, are Trumpers that like get into it so much. They're like, it's not a big population of that. But for the most part of the people I know, like even right-wing people in Canada are like, that place is nuts down there right now. What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, if right-wing people in Canada are looking down there going, wow.
Well, I would think right-wing people in Canada are probably like left-wing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Basically Democrats. That's how it is in most countries. It's other countries. It just seems like here our most left people are, like Bernie Sanders, who's out here saying, hey, everyone should have health care, where every other country in the world that's civilized has already figured that out. He's the best we got on the left, and he's not even, that great anymore.
That's socialism. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's still capitalism, actually.
Definitely still capitalism. It's definitely still capitalism. It's crazy.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think, though, like, there's a lot going on in this country right now, and I think a lot of people are very fatigued by it. I know I get very fatigued by it. I actually did a YouTube podcast episode about how to like manage the news chaos, because I would just be like, I need to be glued to this. I would literally, World War III starting, I was like, holy cow, the cartel. I mean, think about, this is our year so far in the States, right? We started off by kidnapping Maduro from Venezuela.
Right, I forgot all about that.
Because we've moved past it. So to break it down, we kidnapped a sovereign country's leader and then are putting him on trial under our laws,
right?
A country in which he's not even a part of, when in reality, ICE should be going to get him and deporting him back to Venezuela if we were following any kind of logic in how we handle immigration here. And it's what? So we could take the oil, and Trump doesn't even hide it. He's been saying, like, you can buy Venezuelan oil from us. It's wild. It's crazy. And that was just the first few weeks of January. Because then what else have we got? We had ICE in Minnesota, people getting killed, people getting shot, people getting run over. Total fucking chaos, right? And then what do we get after that? The release of the Epstein files. Nobody gives a shit. I thought that would be the breaking point. I thought that would, like, I have been saying for 7 years, when the Epstein files ever come out and people realize how horrible our leaders are and what they do to kids, because it's always kids. Like, there's a soft spot in this country for kids, which there should be, right? But like a lot of times we've been like lied into these wars and these conflicts as a country. They get people behind it by sharing or demonstrating or doing some sort of narrative about they're killing kids. Back in the 90s with the first Gulf War, I think it was, they went and had someone say that they're pulling babies out of incubators and throwing them on the ground. And we were like, we can't let that happen. Because like the American people, when you get out of all the bullshit political right-left division, like there's good-hearted people in this country. And a lot of them are Trumpers. right? A lot of the Trumpers, for whatever you say, like a lot of them, they're just very steep in their Christian values, their family values, their, doing what's right, doing what's wrong, all of that stuff. And a lot of it comes from that. So like we're good people, but I am blown away. I didn't expect to be talking about this, but I'm just blown away by how nobody cares about the Epstein files and what they've revealed. And haven't even seen, some people say we've only seen 2% of them. That's all that's been released, and they're all redacted. And here we are. Now we're in World War III with Iran. They're kicking our ass, by the way. It's kind of crazy that that they are. I mean, it's not like if you know and follow it, like they're not going to just go down. Like they're a big country. It's just the whole thing's crazy.
We look at Russia and the Ukraine, and everyone's like, "Oh, Russia's just going to destroy Ukraine." It's really, 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 really hard to take over a country. They will,
especially in this day and age.
Like, you basically have to kill the entire population before you win because people don't want you there. Like, it's really hard. And I mean, the whole Palestinian Israel thing, like
Israel, yeah.
I've kind of taken a step back, and I know people will be like, "Oh, you have to keep up with the stuff," but I'm like, mentally, I can't. Like, I'm purposely creating a bit of a bubble.
Well, I think that's okay. That here's the thing, and this is what I talked about on my podcast episode about this, is like the way that we have to manage our emotions and what we intake. Like, we're not meant as a species to have this much information coming at us all the time from the phones, from the socials, from the alerts, from the emails, that's not how our brains have spent, hundreds of years or thousands of years forming. So this advancement in technology has like fried our brains, essentially. Low attention spans, cognitive overload, all this stuff. There's an element to viewing this stuff and recognizing what you can and can't process, and also like recognizing what you can and can't impact. And what I think is important for people and important for you with, Gaza and all of that, because it is a lot, is when there's a moment for you to stand and do the right thing or say and do the right thing, doing it, having the integrity in that moment. It doesn't, like you staring at these videos all day, every day, and these photos and reading all of these stories and listening to these, testimonials and eyewitness accounts of what's going on. Like that isn't actually doing anything and except impacting you. So if there's ever a moment where you have an opportunity to stand up and say, I, side with the Palestinian people, or I'm not for genocide, or whatever your stance is there, having the integrity to do that in the moment when it matters is what matters, not just endlessly consuming horrific content. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for saying
that. So don't be hard on yourself. Yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I have to take a break, and I love this stuff. I talk about this stuff. I go on shows and talk about this stuff, and sometimes I'm like, this is just too much.
I wonder if that's the plan behind it all. Let's just
I think it is
too much to the point that no one can keep track of anything and just create chaos. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Especially with this Iran stuff, I was like, okay, now this is like messed up. I'm gonna watch some videos. I'm gonna try to educate myself a little bit. I don't know what to believe. Between AI and like, okay, this is what ABC News says, but then people are saying, go to the there's a news station in China that's actually saying what's real, and then so I'm like, I could be watching footage that's 20 years old. I don't even know if that's real footage. Like, I don't even know what the hell's going on.
This is the problem, and if you think, I don't know if you've ever read, I've probably talked about this before, Orwell's 1984. Mm-hmm. There's literally part of the strategy in there to control people was to create so much chaos of information that nobody knew what was real anymore. And so they had to institute a ministry of truth that then determined what was real and what was not. And so I think part of the strategy for, I don't even think it's like, I don't think our government officials are that smart. I think they're just puppets. And I think they're stupider than we give them credit for. But, there's a handful of elites out there that have an agenda, and that agenda is talked about at the World Economic Forum. That agenda is talked about freely and openly if you pay attention and listen to it. And that agenda is that we will own nothing and we will be happy. And there's an agenda to censor people. Like, I'm censored on social media because I speak out against, the reality TV stuff. And I'm sure there's other things I've said that have been controversial and gotten me into these negative algorithms. But
Same. Yeah.
When you
You
don't
can't
know.
say suicide in a mental health podcast.
No, you can't. Well, that's why I also said PDF files instead of what they are, because that's like now the lingo to get around saying the word that's going to get you censored. And so, I think part of the strategy is that you create so much chaos, so much information. Now, even before AI, you could get a source to say one thing and then another source to say the complete opposite. And then you're just like, well, which one's true? Because they're both sourced and researched, and a lot of times it's framing, right? And now when you mix AI into there, and there's all sorts of videos and all sorts of AI content and stuff, you don't know what's real. What are you going to do? What are you going to believe? And then you've got our mainstream media, which is towing a narrative 99% of the time of whatever that is. You turn on Fox News right here in the States and you think we're winning this war in Iran. You turn on anything else and it's like, no, we're not. Like, this is a quagmire, total disaster with no end goal planned, nothing in sight. And we've lost, I don't even know how many, I think up to maybe 15, 16 U.S. soldiers now. How sad is that? For what? And for what? What have we gotten out of this?
Yeah.
And, you look online and you see, I follow people that are, Iranian and talking about how things are working. Like, one of the people said, there's no way that you ever win this war. You can kill all the ayatollahs and supreme leaders you want. It's like the cartel. There's always a next person up, next man up, next man up, next man up. And that's just the mentality, right? So it's like that to me is like where you can get some real news. And there's always going to be that bias of a person. But it's hard because you look, in other places and they're saying like Israel is a mess. Like, they've been attacked and hit much harder than any of us are letting them know. I saw something yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, where they said like the whole IDF military is like depleted and there's like nothing left. So it's like, what's actually going on? Who's actually benefiting from any of this? And what's the end game? And you don't know. And that's what gets overwhelming, right? And what gets scary, because then what happens when you don't know it's real anymore? You will turn to someone to tell you what's real and what's not. And then you get your Truth Commission from 1984.
Right. I mean, the only thing I know for sure is that your leaders won't lie. So when Trump says something, I'm like, oh, okay, Americans are winning and they're going to pull out soon. Meanwhile, 10,000 troops are on their way over there.
I know.
What the fuck's going on?
And what's crazy is Iran is saying we've been preparing for this for decades. So this is come try.
It's almost chilling how
it's chilling.
Cool they are with the whole thing. They're like, go ahead. Let's see what happens.
Bring them. We've been waiting. Yeah.
Like,
try
that's chilling. And I'm not saying Iran is a wonderful place. Like, they have horrible humanitarian issues. But also, like, you don't poke a bear and then expect nothing.
Well, I think it sounds like, from what I hear in the reporting, the people I listen to that are trying to report on it, Trump was told and convinced that, and probably a little bit of a high on how the whole Maduro Venezuela thing went, that Trump was told this would be a piece of cake just like that. Now, what kind of idiot believes that when you look at a country the size and the stature of Iran? I don't know. That's kind of crazy to me. And then there's also rumors now that Trump's bored with the war and he wants out. He wants to go back to talking about other things like his ballroom. And it's like,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, so I don't know, man. It's crazy. And, it's funny because now it's like, well, we got to get the Strait of Hormuz opened up so that trade can continue and oil can continue. And it's like, well, the only reason it's closed is because we started this war. So we could have just not started this war and then we wouldn't have to have that objective because it would have been open.
Yeah.
It's a quagmire. It's embarrassing. And also all of these people that are being died, infrastructure being destroyed, innocent people dying that have nothing to do with these, geopolitical wars. And all for what?
Just macho bullshit.
Yeah.
Like as a Canadian, so a lot of people I talk to, they're like, wait a minute, so Trump wanted us to be the 51st state.
Yeah.
Belittled us.
I was going to ask you how you feel about that.
Put tariffs on us and all that, his allies. Says he doesn't need doesn't need NATO, all this stuff. Starts a war, then goes, hey, you going to come help us or what? No. Like, why are you mad at us? What like, what the fuck is going? Again, what the fuck is going on?
It doesn't feel like we're in real life anymore.
It honestly doesn't. And in Canada is probably about as stable as any country can be right now with our new prime minister, and he's not perfect or anything else, but he's well respected and all this stuff, and he's making wonderful deals and whatever, I guess. I don't know. But still, it's like, it does feel like not real life when I look at TikTok, when I put on YouTube, and all I see is, I mean, for God's sakes, look at the head of FBI. I mean, the head of your education system was a goddamn wrestler's wife. Like, she thought AI was A1. I'm like, this is what's happening now. They have a guy that used to be a weekend update guy on Fox News is running the military. What the fuck?
Have you seen that? Have you seen that meme where it's like,
hey, I gotta tell you, having a podcast isn't all that easy, especially in this day and age when trends and things are changing so quickly. I can't keep up with it, and honestly, I don't like doing it. I like the creating part. That's why I reached out to Carrie Hyman. She's the genius behind Your Voice Consulting. With more than 25 years of experience in communications and engagement, Carrie helps organizations connect with purpose and clarity. Known for her practical approach and steady leadership, she's built lasting relationships across industries and communities, guiding teams to communicate with confidence, empathy, and impact. And I can tell you, she is a long-term good friend of mine, and all of that is 100% true. So if you have an organization or a corporation of any kind, and you're spinning your tires, or you're needing some extra help, some advice, I'm telling you right now, go to yourvoiceconsulting.com and contact Carrie.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Trump, Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, like Triple H. It's like, and they're like, everyone in this photo has been given the Stone Cold Stunner. It's like true. It's true. It's like Linda McMahon's been given the Stone Cold Stunner. Vince Mc, like all these people that are, Trump got the Stone Cold Stunner. Like it's hilarious.
Oh, good God.
We're not, like I said a lot last Friday. I co-hosted Hardlands Media, and I just said almost every segment we did on the news, I was like, we're not a serious country. Like we are just not a serious country.
No.
And it's becoming we're becoming satire of ourselves. It's just
and to think, like, I mean, I don't put any real politicians up on pedestals or anything like that.
No.
But I mean, how did you go from Obama to this?
Well, I mean, I could tell you the economic story is that Obama let down his coalition that he built. He didn't deliver a lot of the things that he said he was going to deliver. And so 2012, there was a bit of a backlash, and any competent Republican that wasn't Mitt Romney would have probably been able to beat him in 2012 because he lost the economic coalition that he built. So he had a lot of people that voted for Bush, and he had a lot of people that had voted Democrat, but he was this new vision, and he took people that were like, I'm not going to vote for Hillary, I'm going to be an independent. He brought them in, and then he didn't deliver health care like he said he was going to. He didn't bail people out of their mortgage challenges from the 2008 crisis. He gave the banks bailouts instead of the people. I forget exactly the number, but a large amount of people lost their houses under Obama. And so by the time Trump came in, and he's like, and he came in 2016, and he attacked the Republican Party first and foremost and went at him hard. I mean, he got up there on stage, and Jeb Bush up there trying to continue the Bush dynasty, he looked him in the eye and said, your brother's the reason that we're in this mess because he invaded Iraq illegally. Like that, he just took them down one by one. on all of these things that kind of got us to where we were. And then Hillary's the worst candidate to ever run for president. And, I remember at the time, I knew she had very, very small chance of pulling that out. I think that, Obama, who I voted for twice and worked on his campaign in 2008 at college, I think I look at him and it's like, wow, that guy was really good politician. He's very smart. He's very clear with his messages that he wants to give. He's very good at like saying stuff without actually saying stuff. He brought and he had decorum, right? And when he got into office, even he had decorum. He was like, we're not going to look backwards and prosecute anyone for, the horrible wars we were in. We're just going to move forward. And so he's got the decorum. But the bottom line is like his economic policy sucked, and that's what got us Trump. And then Joe Biden was, the anecdote to Trump, and we all know how that went. But, inflation's higher than it ever had been, and he was asleep at the wheel, like quite literally as the president. And now we're sitting here, and it's Trump 2.0. And like I like to say, Kamala. I got nothing to say. She offered absolutely nothing too.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the Democrats are to blame for some of this stuff because
and where are
in the
they
middle
now?
of a presidential election, they pull their candidate.
Well, oh my gosh, that whole thing I could go on and on and on and on and about. But like she was the worst possible candidate in that moment because she doesn't have any anchor. Like she doesn't have something that grounds her. She's a grifter. She will say whatever's convenient in the moment. She usually doesn't have an original idea herself, which you can see if you watch anything that she's ever done from an interview perspective. And then, you get Trump 2.0. And I'm like, wouldn't it have been better if we just kind of had him beat Joe Biden and then we were done with him? No, but instead we got that little break. And now all of these liberal Democrats that don't want to address the faults of the Democratic Party get 12 years of Trump all over their media instead of just 8. That's the thing. The Democrats, they do nothing. The do nothing Democrats. Where is their opposition right now? They have no message. No one's out there stumping. No one's out there organizing. Like they're sitting back thinking that the chaos is going to deliver them the midterms, which it probably will, because this is what we do in this country. We bounce back and forth like we're in a ping pong table without ever any change.
Well, that's the thing about Canadian politics. Like our prime minister, he's not left, he's not right. He's the Liberal Party's quote unquote the center party. Because I mean, there's a lot of gray between left and right, and in the States, it's a two-party system, and it's
and they're both right wing. It's just how right wing. Like the Democrats policy wise, like. Maybe, I mean, Joe Biden did like super crazy stuff with immigration and having open borders, but like there wasn't any healthcare from Biden. Like there wasn't any, I mean, he did some infrastructure stuff, but I mean, it's all like giveaways to the corporations. It's not to actually have good paying jobs.
Down.
That's the model. It's very disappointing. And I'm politically homeless. I don't have a party anymore. I'm not sure I really ever did. I think I just thought I did. I don't really see a point to voting. I'm like, which pedo are you voting for? Like, which cannibal are you voting for? Like,
wait. Do you actually think? Because I know, like QAnon, in the first term of Trump's, the whole QAnon thing about babies being eaten and stuff. Do you think that's an actual thing?
I have read so many of the Epstein files myself.
Oh God,
now,
I couldn't.
I don't blame you. I'm sick. I have a unquenchable thirst to know what the fuck's going on around me. I hate it sometimes. But yeah, you read them, and is there ever any point in there where someone's like, and then I ate the baby? No, but there's like quite a bit of stuff that insinuates that that's what was happening. There's secret coded language in there talking about beef jerky and eating beef jerky. And the more you look at more and more of those commentaries in these emails, it sounds like they're talking about eating babies. I know this sounds crazy, but you go and you just look and you're like, go look up jerky in the files. You can go to the Epstein file website and you can just type in jerky and it'll pull up all the search results from jerky. Read 5 of them and you'll be like, I think they're talking about people. It's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
And the way that they talk about the kids and some of the stuff. And there's people that have come out and said stuff. There's a video of a girl who was, I don't remember how old, like 13, 14, 15 maybe. This came out around the time or leaked again from maybe 2012, 2013. I played it on my podcast, and she's running out of an Epstein party, and she's screaming and crying and saying they're eating people. And she knew about the murders and knew about this, but like they're eating people in there, and she's never been seen from or heard from again. So like, there's a lot of like, you got to open your eyes to it. And you got to be willing to like not draw the line and say, well, I know they're pretty bad, but I know they're not eating people. It's like, what about all the other stuff you didn't think they were doing that they're doing? Right? You just, I'm open to believing anything. Like I tell the joke, I'm like, you know what, at this point, flat earthers, give me your best shot. I'm open to hearing your arguments.
Oh my God. I mean, I know there's always been like, you know, a secret society, weird crap with the elites on Earth, but yeah. And now that it's like even a fraction of it's exposed, like not even the top people are exposed. This is the guy that just recorded it all for the people up top.
He was their like keeper. I feel like that's the best way I can think of is he was like the facilitator. He was and he's not in charge. He was like the middle manager. You know, that's what I think. But, you know, I put it this way. If you look back on like history and you look back to like, I use the example, Elizabeth Bathory. What did she do? She bathed and drank virgin young girls' blood because she believed that it made her younger and would keep her alive forever. So
Vlad the Impaler.
At what point did these people that were in charge, these elites, like who was the first one that was like, well, I'm not going to do this? And then do you see what I mean? Like we have a history of doing these things. We have a history of consuming animals, maybe each other. Like there's a reason cannibals are a thing. There's a reason Elizabeth Bathory bathed like that. There's a reason, you know, Vlad the Impaler, all of these legends of vampires, like where do they come from? You know, so what makes you think at some point it just stopped? I probably sound like a lunatic when I'm thinking about this on your podcast. Like, but I swear to God, like I've read all of these things myself.
But this is what I want to know as a Canadian who doesn't, I mean, it affects me somewhat, but like I can only consume so much stuff, so much American stuff as well. I wanted to talk to an average American that I trusted and get their take on like what the hell's going on right now and what's happening your life mentally. And
I think what you're feeling and what you're describing though is like, I think that's the general consensus of like the average person. I'm a psychopath. Like I am.
Oh, you're not an average.
I'm not an average person.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm in deep on this stuff. Like I enjoy keeping up with the news and politics. I like talking about it. I like all of that stuff. But it gets a lot. And I think a lot of people check out, like in, you know, even, you know, someone in my life, like I believe everything, but I don't believe that they're eating babies. So you believe all the other horrible stuff they're doing, but that's just a bit too far. But it's like, it's a cognitive dissonance.
It
right?
kind of is like, you don't want to believe it because it's just so fucked up.
It's so, and it doesn't sound, it like breaks your sense of reality.
Like when the whole QAnon thing was happening, I'm like, oh my God, roll my eyes. And now there is like, you know, evidence, but it's from the left or ish, even though the left's in there as well. So now it's like, I don't know what it's just, it's so.
Well, this is what I would encourage people, kind of like what I said to you earlier. You don't have to keep up with all of it. Like at the end of the day, you got to take care of your own mental health. You got to take care of your own physical health. And if it's causing you distress to stay on top of the news, don't. It's just when the moment comes for you to stand on the right side of history, you know, if that comes, make sure you do. It may never come. There may never be a moment, Todd, for you to stand on top of the hill and say, you know, we stand with the Palestinian people. But if that moment comes, be sure to say, you know, I stand with the Palestinian people or whatever. You know, that's the one example. But I think that's what people should do. And the reality is I look around and I'm like, I've spent 3 years now trying to organize reality TV cast members. And it's fucking exhausting. And, I have people that are like, you should try to organize people to do this and this and this. I'm like, I'm done trying to organize people. Like, I can't even organize these. It's like herding cats, right? And it's for their own good. And it's like they don't even know it. But I think that it's important to recognize the boundaries and the lengths of which you have power. And what you have power with, most of this stuff, is how much information you access and you allow into your space, into your mind. And so do that responsibly, because this can be very serious fatigue, mental and cognitive overload. People who are empathetic, it's going to impact you in a whole different way. So consume it healthily, mindfully, and within the boundaries of what works for you. And don't worry about all of the chaos that you have no control over. Worry about what you do have control over and focus on that. And don't feel bad about it, because we have a president right now that is at war with a country on behalf of another country. And the reality is that you look at what our Constitution says, and we're not supposed to be able to go to war without congressional approval. Well, our Congress, Thomas Massey on the right and then Ro Khanna on the left, they tried to institute the War Powers Act, which is basically the Constitution where Congress has the right to declare war, not the president. And they can't even get that passed in their own Congress. Like, they can't even take the power that's given to them by the Constitution. So, what are you going to do? What am I going to do?
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
I'm going to try and wake a person up every now and then to look around and be like, hey, the world is really fucked up, and we should be doing something. We shouldn't be having no King's marches, which are parades, because they're given a designated area that they're allowed to be in, and it gives everyone the dopamine hit like they're doing something. Meanwhile, they haven't shut down anything, and everybody gets up after 3 hours and goes home and then goes back to work. And unless you shut stuff down, a protest is just a parade. So I look at all this stuff and I'm hopeful, but I'm not optimistic. But I also know I'm like, what can I do? Well, I can use my platform and my podcast to talk about these things, try and explain them a little bit better, try and break down what you can do about it, and where you can take action, which can be locally. I don't know that I'll ever vote in a national election again, because I don't think that it matters. You get the Democrat in there, the Republican in there, you get the same bullshit policies. But I do think local elections matter. Who's your alderman? Who's your House of Representatives? But are they going to be able to take that message to Congress? I don't think so. I've watched plenty of lefty people enter into Congress and just be completely shut out and muted and then give up.
Or going for all the right reasons and then just turn into one of them.
Yeah. I often think about, and I've thought about this now since probably 2017, running for Congress and having this, I'm not here to be friends with anyone. But I have to tell you, would I cave? I don't cave. I don't cave. I stand my ground. And if someone pushes back and I think I'm doing the right thing, I dig my feet in and get louder. But I don't understand how people just keep getting consumed and becoming part of it, part of the system that they go in there to fight. It's crazy.
It is. And I've considered too running for provincial politics. I had a friend that worked in we call it the legislature for years. And she said, Todd, I know you. I know your personality. You will, no, just.
It'll eat you alive.
Yeah. You'll get so frustrated, or you'll just please don't. Just keep doing what you're doing.
What would be your top 3 policies you'd push for?
Don't make it on me, man. I want to know about the states.
I just think, like I said, I think a lot of people are overwhelmed. A lot of people are just going about business as usual. A lot of people are burnt out. We've got a ton of layoffs that have been happening here.
Well, and the whole ICE thing, we haven't even talked about the ICE thing. What the fuck? Is that still happening, the ICE shit?
It is. It's just not in the news. And why isn't it in the news? Well, we've got World War III. It's crazy. It's crazy how these things come and go out of the news. You forgot about Maduro already. No one's talking about ICE anymore. No one's talking about the Epstein files anymore. It's all no one's talking about Palestine anymore. Palestine is rubble. It's rubble.
It really is a genocide.
Yeah.
And then people throw it in your, it's like you can't even have an opinion either, because then you're getting attacked no matter what opinion you have.
Yeah.
It's like, about the Hamas and they're evil. It's like, well, I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm talking about innocent.
The government of Israel. And this is the other thing that bothers me about this, and I think you're kind of hitting this nail on the head, is like, I can say, let's not genocide Palestine. I can say, don't be anti-Semitic. I can say Hamas is horrible. I can say Israel's government is horrible. All four of those things, in my view, are all true.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think this is the fault of the Jewish people. I think this is the fault of a rogue government with a greater Israel project plan, where they're trying to, take over pieces of this country to make Israel bigger and the superpower in the Middle East. That's what's happening. You can look that up. But at the same time, like, the Jewish people, they're not, maybe they support it and you can have an argument on policy there, but like, this isn't a Jewish people problem. This is an Israeli government, U.S. government, Palestine government, like Hamas is elected, essentially, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and same thing as a Canadian person, when I'm saying, Americans are nuts, I'm not talking about American people. I could go to the middle of the most red state there is, and my car break down, and some guy that's a huge Trumper will help me change my tire, and people one-on-one are just lovely people that just want to make sure everyone else is having a good day like they are.
No, you're right.
But then you watch the media and all the, it's like,
I can tell you most of these, the media does that on purpose. They like purposely divide you and try to make you hate your neighbor. Yeah. That's how it is. It's made to divide us and make you hate your neighbor. But then you go and you actually have a beer with your neighbor, and you may disagree on some stuff, but you realize all you're really trying to do is have a normal life, feed your family, take care of your family, have a good time, and go on vacation once or twice a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've worked and I've had all types of neighbors that are like, when you talk politics, I'm just like shaking my head. At the same time, on a snowy day, I come out, they shoveled my walk for me before I could even do it. It's like, okay,
well, that's how it used to be.
What if we all just turn our backs to media?
I think that's happening. I think a lot more people are getting their media from YouTube and independent, crowdfunded, stuff like that. But it's
like the demon. It's not there if you don't look at it. It's like, all right, if you're trying to divide us, you're trying to do this, let's all just make our bubble smaller and be like, what is important to me in my life is what I can see around me, I can touch.
And you can
like
change.
You said, what can I do about any of this other than just have it divide me and crumble me?
Yeah. And give you existential dread, which I have.
But then we have nice conversations like this with people that get it.
Yeah.
On both sides.
And I think it's really important for people to, and myself included, to like have boundaries around the news you're consuming. And that goes beyond what you do and don't consume. But like, where do you get it from? What perspective is it? And for the love of God, listen to the other side. I'm not saying walk into a den that's like a lion's den of hate, and it's just going to be people calling you a libtard or people calling you MAGA or, a racist. Like, not that. That's toxic. That's not helping anybody. But if you sometimes just listen to your neighbor who disagrees with you, you'll find common ground. And I always go back to, so I predicted 2 years before 2024 that Trump was going to win again. I thought it was so obvious to me. But that's because I listened to both sides. And I realized that like the left was complacent, because the left is now not about labor. The left is now about like the white collar, upper middle class people who want Joe Biden or a Democrat so they can feel good and not have to think about politics. And when Trump's in office, they got to think about politics. And those people were sedated with Joe Biden, and they were just not impacted by eggs going up to $8. They weren't impacted by the cost of living inflation increases in the same way as the working class. And I could see the momentum building for years on the working class and labor, and like the fact that Trump was able to talk to them and get in a dump truck or not a garbage truck and wave to people and do a press conference hanging out the window and go work at a McDonald's drive-through. Like, that used to be the Democrats.
Do you think he was shot?
Oh, I don't even know anymore, dude. I don't know any of that.
Because that's
I don't know.
The pinnacle, like when he got quote unquote, I don't know either, shot.
I don't know
That's
anymore.
really when the polls went bang.
Yep. Well, you know why? Because he was positioning himself as against the establishment. And if they were trying to kill him, you know, the CIA or who, I don't believe it was a lone gunman. I never believed that. But like, if someone's trying to kill him, someone's scared he's going to disrupt something. So that's going to make his poll numbers go up. Well, when I was predicting he won, I had a friend, I checked in on her. She's a Democrat, works in politics. And I was like, you know, how you doing when he won? And she's like, better than you would think. And she's like, but it's because you prepped me for this. And I wasn't in my bubble. And I was like, that's what we need to talk to the other side for, so that we can understand the energy, the perspective, and what matters to them. And then we can come together on the things that matter to both of us and pick candidates and parties and stuff that aligns with that. Like, you and I could sit here and disagree about something, but, you know, I think we could probably find 5 things for every one thing we disagree on that we agree on. And it doesn't have to be, you know, transgender affirming surgery for minors. Like, that's a very niche topic that's probably not even nearly the size that it comes across as, because it gets amplified in culture war. But like, if we go and we sit down with, you know, I'm like the most left person I know. I'm at this point, I'm like, give me fucking communism over this shit. You know, like I'm just so over the bullshit of, yeah. I say that facetiously. I'd really like a social democracy, but you know, if I sit there and when I talk to MAGA people, and some of my family are MAGA people and some of my friends are MAGA people, it's like what it was. You know, I have a good friend who voted for Trump, and, you know, he and I talk about politics all the time. And you know what we find common ground on? We find common ground on the economics of it. And so, like, if you can talk to your neighbor who has the Make America Great Again flag out in their front yard while you've got your Kamala poster in the window, and you guys go talk about economics, go talk about how we feel about sending our brothers and sisters and children and friends to war in Iran when we don't even know what the objective is. You know, like, go talk to them about that, because my MAGA friend, he's like, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for wars. I didn't vote for chaos. I voted for the economy. I voted for inflation coming down. I voted for making life more affordable. I voted for ending the wars.
Right.
You know? So, like, you talk about those things and you get out of these pointed little issues that impact 2% of people, you guys can come together on a lot very quickly. I do it all the time. Like, I don't engage in like the silly arguments, because it's just a trigger point for them, and they start to like see red about it and don't want to have a nuanced conversation about it. And to me, like, that is making that a much bigger issue than World War III, right? And it shouldn't be. Or a much bigger issue about how are we going to afford groceries, or a much bigger issue than like AI is taking jobs. Or, you know, we had our lowest or highest layoff amount since the Great Recession in 2008. Like, I think we can all agree this isn't good. Why don't we figure out how to fix that instead of worrying about an issue that impacts such a small amount of people but gets amplified as this massive... Do you remember like the bathroom issue from like 2012? I remember I'm sitting there, I'm like, I've never seen this problem. You know what was crazy about that?
Right.
What was crazy about that is at the time I worked for PlayStation, and I traveled all over the state and the surrounding states doing like trainings. And so I was in retail stores, Best Buys, Targets, Walmarts, GameStops. I met all sorts of people from around here, all sorts of different areas. I never once saw a bathroom issue. And I was in retail stores all the friggin' time. But you turn on the news and the bathroom issue was the biggest issue in the world. And it's like, I'm not even seeing this. And I'm out here every single day where these bathroom issues are supposed to be happening. I haven't seen it once.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like...
ignorance is bliss.
It can be. It can be.
I gotta stay dumber.
And it's okay. You're not... That's the thing, though. You're not staying dumb. You're staying smart. You know,
well, you know what I mean. Stay ignorant, I guess.
Ignorant.
It's exhausting.
It is. Just manage it and give yourself some slack. That's the big thing. I think people feel, because I think most people are good people and they want to do the right thing. I really believe that. I believe most people are good people trying to do the right thing, but you feel helpless. And then you feel guilt because you can't do anything. But like, you really can't do anything until you can do something, and then you do something.
Right. And like for me, I have my niche. It's mental health, addictions. The other stuff I care about, but I'm not passionate enough to know everything, to know what's wrong or right, or to stand on a hill. I should say that. I know enough to know what side I'm on.
Yeah.
But I can't be passionate about every fucking thing that comes
No,
up
you
the
can't.
pipe. So
That's why you can't. Well, this podcast sounds like it's bunny hugs in U.S. politics.
I'm not gonna lie. I've asked quite a few people that have been on the podcast before, like, hey, do you want to, I'm curious about what it's like living in the state. What's the mindset right now? How is people's mental health, and like what's going on?
What are some of the things you hear?
No one would talk to me.
Oh, really?
You're the only one that was like,
oh my God, that's why you called.
Yeah, well, that, and I did want to, like, some updates on UCAN and on you and everything else, but because I couldn't imagine living in the States right now. How wacky I am and how overwhelmed I can get. I couldn't do it.
You just gotta compartmentalize. You gotta pay attention to what you can pay attention to, and change what you can change. Right? That's all it is.
Thank you so much to Nick Thompson. If you would like to hear more or know more about Nick and his podcast, you can follow him on YouTube, Eyes Wide Open. For more information on the UCAN Foundation, please go to theucanfoundation.org. Please rate and review Bunny Hugs and Mental Health on Apple Podcasts or whatever app you are listening on. Please follow me on Instagram at Bunny Hugs Podcast and on Facebook, Bunny Hugs and Mental Health. If you enjoy the podcast and my guests, please go to buymeacoffee.com, and under Bunny Hugs Podcast, you can leave a one-time or a monthly tip. Any amount is extremely appreciated. You can find all my links in the show notes or at www.bunnyhugspodcast.com. Until next time, please remember to make your beds and take your meds.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.